Is This a Ghost is sponsored this week by our friends at Smart Labels.
No way!
Smart Labels crew is back.
The king returns.
It is the fall organizational season. Famously.
I just flipped the calendar over and I noticed that written right there, big and bold. Fall organization starts
season
now. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. Here's what I'll say. So obviously fall is it's the kickoff of the big decoration season.
Correct.
Halloween is lots of decorations.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thanksgiving
Columbus Day,
is
lots of decorations.
Columbus Day, well, yep. Lots of hatchets, lots of blankets with smallpox on them. Mm-hmm. And you do not want to misplace those. No. You want to make sure you've got a tab on where those guys are. And you've got your Thanksgiving, of course, big Thanksgiving spread.
Absolutely.
And then, gosh, the Christmas season is just chock-a-block with inflatables. And so if you are not very organized, this is the perfect season for you to get organized. And Smart Labels can help you do it. If you haven't heard about Smart Labels before, if you're new to the show, they are wonderful. They are these stickers with QR codes that are color-coded and QR coded. And you stick them on your boxes, you stick them on your crates, you stick them on your little Michaels brand plastic indestructible snap top things. You scan the label with the app. You just type in there, here's what's inside here. This one is smallpox blankets. Do not open until Columbus Day. And then you put it in your house somewhere. You type in the app where you put it, where in your house you put it. You take a picture if you want. And then when you need to find it later, you just go to the app and you type in smallpox blanket. And it pops right up, shows you exactly where to go.
Yep. And importantly, you take that little chunk of your memory that you were using to remember where all that shit was. Poof.
Gone.
You can drink that little brain cell away. It's gone. It's no longer necessary.
That's an extra beer or two, friends. That is one extra brain cell where you can remember, I don't know, Joe Mantegna quotes. Yeah. Which is where an inordinate number of my brain cells have gone to, and I'm not sure why. We moved obviously pretty recently to Virginia across the country.
Yeah, your annual move. I remember. Yeah,
annual move. Yeah, and we now that when we started looking for our Halloween decorations, which was by my clock September 1st, because my children are insane. I was like, where did we put those? Because it was just the moving was a haze. So I pulled up my Smart Labels app. I said Halloween. I typed it in there. Boop boop boop. Halloween. And once I spelled it right, it showed me exactly where those boxes were. Now, in my case, those boxes were in the very scary crawl space on the side of my kid's bedroom. So I did not go in there, and we were not celebrating Halloween. But we could. We could if we wanted to. Theoretically, we know exactly where those things are, so we could. And you could theoretically celebrate things too. So go Smart Labels it's so great. They will help you stay organized. We truly love them. We've both used them, and they are truly they will free up so much of your brain space. You won't even know what to do with yourself. You may even start watching old 90s movies just for the Joe Mantegna. So if you want some Smart Labels for your own, you can go to Amazon and just search Smart Labels, one word. You'll find them. It's as easy as that. Buy them. You'll love them. And after you love them, just email them and be like, gosh, we love that we found these on the Ghost podcast because it would be good.
And be specific, because they kind of cast a wide net with the Ghost podcasts. There's 7 or 8 of us.
Yeah, tell them you're on the Ghost podcast. The guy who wears skeleton jammies.
Yes,
they'll know which one you're talking about. You are, 43 years old? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Is This a Ghost? I'm Clayton Smith, and every week I tell a real ghost story from real history. And I want to emphasize that, because I think people keep asking me, are these real stories? Yeah, they're real stories. Right. Real ghosts are real, and these are the stories.
You're not allowed to make them up.
No, that's in the contract.
For next week.
I'm not allowed to make them up, but but one of us is, and we'll get to that soon. They're real. So just stop asking me if they're real. They are real. They are real. They're real ghosts, real stories. And I tell them every week to my real friend, who does like me. He is my real friend. Stop asking me that too.
Absolutely.
Patrick Dean, who does not take it real seriously. What's happening with your shirt?
Oh, it's not just the shirt.
What's happening with your body?
It's returning to bones.
A little sooner than anticipated.
Well,
not much sooner, but a little sooner.
Hey,
Oh, Aaron's here to see it now. Look at Patrick's weird body. Come on, stand up. Do the thing you just did for me. Do the jig.
Ooh. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. I think this is what he wears to work now.
I saw I went to the thrift store
Yeah.
today, and there was a shirt that was like a workout shirt, like the typical like spandexy material you would think, and just like the same cut as like anything you'd see at Lululemon or Old Navy or whatever. But it had like very realistic like skeleton bones. Like, I don't know if that's supposed to be for Halloween, but I was like, I don't know, it was very off-putting for some reason, like thinking of like the workout environment and then just be like, here's my skeleton, everybody.
Oh, it's a reminder that you got to put on muscle. Because it is absent of that. So you work it out.
This is my workout goal. Lose all my flesh.
Start with the fat, then the muscle, all the skin, just to bone.
Eventually, bone and a thin layer of sinew. That is the goal here.
Oh, that sounds cool. Dare I ask? Again, we'll say again, not complaining, but why you're dressed as a skeleton tonight?
I don't have a good answer to that. I don't. Yeah.
There's not a good answer to that.
I can,
Okay.
Yeah.
it looks comfortable.
It is. June has the exact same pajamas, so she and I are matching tonight. Amy may
Is
have
there pajamas?
these. Yeah, of course. Yeah. What do you think these? What do you think they were?
Workout wear, of course.
Yeah. He and June have matching pajamas. Okay.
That's what it
all.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a real American consumer buying matching family pajamas every holiday. Where's your Easter pajamas?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay. Okay, bye. Have fun.
Okay. Goodbye.
You'll love the Easter ones. It's just two very specifically located eggs. You don't need it.
No, I'm going to tell her. No, I think she deserves to know that you'll love the Easter ones. It's just two very specifically located eggs. Good night. Well, I'm not getting lucky tonight. Thanks a lot. How's your new audio setup?
It's good. I found these little earbud things in the desk drawer, so we're gonna see if they work.
All right.
We're not. Figure it's better than having something like hanging off of my head like some sort of West German DJ all night. So,
Ryan and I thought about one thing we might do, because there's a new version of the Rodecaster out, the soundboard.
Okay.
If money continues to come in, we might get a new one for me, and then you could have this one.
What?
And then if you are interested in having a fancy board,
Right.
one of the many things I would allow you to do is listen to me in headphones,
Right. Yeah.
and also sound effects for days.
How many buttons are on there?
Well, there are 8 buttons, but I think you can load them up 3 times each.
Okay. Well,
So at least 12.
my buttons still work? I don't think they work. Oh, I have it turned all the way down. No, they just don't work. Never mind. Okay.
No, I heard that. Did you hear it? I heard it. It's laughter.
I heard nothing. Really?
Hilarious laughter. Yeah.
Okay, let me turn up a little louder.
Yeah.
Anything? I have nothing
Yeah.
on my end.
Huh.
Nothing.
Yeah. See, that's not going to be a problem when you get the Rodecaster.
Okay, good.
So, what beer do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I have a Schlafly Bavarian Weiss Ale.
Bavarian Weiss, huh?
Bavarian Weiss Ale. Comes in the Aldi carries exactly one sampler pack from Schlafly. So
Okay.
that's the one that I get.
I have an Oktoberfest called the Mayor of Munich from a little brewery down the road we've not yet been to, called Basic City.
Is that like the nickname for your guys' town, or?
No.
You sure?
Well, it might be.
You
So
only just got there.
our town's nickname is Queen City.
Oh, okay. Like a bunch,
Um,
like a million towns have that.
Yeah,
nickname, though,
more
so I don't
notably
know.
Cincinnati.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what they thought they were doing. But this comes from a different town called Waynesboro. So maybe Waynesboro is Basic City, which is it's a bad nickname.
Well, it depends on
Yeah.
what, Yeah. If you're trying to stay under the radar, though, like if you're in like the witness protection program, that's I bet like most people in Waynesboro.
Yeah,
In the witness
it's
protection
too
program.
obvious. It's you've gone too far.
You open up the phone book and look up Smith and Johnson. It's just millions of entries.
The thing that Waynesboro is apparently famous for is the DuPont factory that was there in the DuPont heyday.
Oh,
that's where it was. And we learned about this because one day we went out there when we first moved in. We went out to Waynesboro because there's this really nice, like, there's a river that runs through it and a really nice kind of riverfront path with like playgrounds and just, greenery, So we took the girls, were walking through and they wanted to splash around in the river. And we're like, there's some entry paths here. Let's go down.
Yeah.
So we started walking toward one of them and then we saw a sign that said, "Do not enter river." And we're like, what? That's really strange. So we started asking people like, hey, why can't you go into the river there? They said, oh, they're still dealing with all the chemicals DuPont dumped in 30 years ago. So you've got Blinky, the three-eyed fish, swimming around in there. So yeah, that's pretty fun.
That's exciting.
Anyway, so the Basic City Brewery has a little deck where you overlook that same river, and the glow at night is wonderful, beautiful.
And on those days when you're upwind of the river, it's just so peaceful, really.
Oh, upwind is the wind to be at. All right. Well, how about we get started?
I'm good with that. I'm good with starting.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
How's Amy dealing with the fact that she was not at the Chicago Marathon this weekend?
She's dealing with it pretty well because she has her big gal marathon.
Gal marathon?
Marathon just for gals.
Just for gals?
Just for the gals.
They have to wear shoulder pads while they run?
They do not wear shoulder pads while they run. No.
Huh. Was she amused by that joke or not? You can be honest.
I think you and I are going to have similar evenings.
You pass it to me and I pass it right on back. Oh man. Sorry, Jeremy. This is going to be a bear to edit. All right. So the Halloween episode, we record that by our watch in 1 week, 7 days. How's it coming along?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
For anyone who is rather new to the podcast, our Halloween tradition here is that Patrick does a Halloween episode. He dresses up like Clayton. He takes over the podcast for the week. And I think, are we doing another 2 haunts and a flaunt? Is that the plan?
I think so. The week starts today, right? The week starts today.
The week, that's true.
See?
That's true. That's true. So you feeling good?
No. I mean, I guess.
Do you want to know my cheat code?
Sure.
In case you need it. And you already know this cheat code. Email Jen.
I don't think it'll come to that.
Right.
How about this? Maybe this year, instead of 2 haunts and a flaunt, it'll be 2 stories that I research and 1 that Jen researches. And you have to pick which one Jen researched.
Oh, that's going to be very easy. Sorry. But you're still on board? You're still doing this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Oodles of time.
Our listeners, it's their favorite episode of the year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
We get more positive feedback on the Halloween episode every year than any other episode, which, makes it challenging for me to be researching 51 stories a year. But it's good. It's good. This is why people come back. So, all right. Any questions, concerns, thoughts?
I'm it's old hat. I know what I'm doing here.
You get right in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we get started, I want to tell you, so I have been going to a gym lately, a fitness center.
Really?
Getting real swole.
Okay.
And I will usually go to the treadmill for a while, and the treadmills are all lined up in front of TVs on the walls, classic gym setup. And one of my favorite things to do actually is plant myself on the treadmill in front of the Fox News TV.
Oh, right.
Because I like to see how just what's happening over there.
You like to run angry. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not exposed to that on a normal basis. And I'm curious. And also I want to be able to talk to my mom at Thanksgiving. And I don't know what to talk about unless I watch Fox News. So I'll watch the Chiron. The volume is off, but I'll watch the Chirons, and they range from from the buffoonish to the very infuriating. But the best part about watching Fox News while I'm running is the commercials.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because you get like the gold coin commercials, and there's a lot of commercials about like devices and gadgets that make it so you don't have to bend over anymore. That's a big theme. The other day I was watching one of the commercials came on, and it was the picture this the setting is a suburban house, and then suddenly in front of that house by the sidewalk, in a just a gross geyser shoots up. A broken sewer main has erupted under the ground. It shoots up into the air.
I hate that. I hate pressurized sewer lines. I don't know why. I don't know who invented those.
It's crazy that it comes up so high. It's so weird. But then the homeowner comes out. This middle-aged man comes out, and he and again, I cannot hear the audio, but he stands with his hands on his head like this and goes, and then you can see, and there's text on the screen then that appears that says, "Why does this keep happening?" And it was, it's a commercial for some nationwide sewer repair company.
Sure.
But I thought, oh my God, this is a commercial that is directed exactly to Patrick. I have never seen an ad in my life as like granularly targeting a human person as this one is targeting you.
Big fans of the show, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Do you feel compelled to start watching Fox News?
Not really. Not
They think you're already doing it.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Based on this one commercial about how many times your storm drain has exploded.
I know as I got older, and got into college and whatnot, I started paying more attention to the commercials for the television I was watching, because it started to kind of indicate whether I was maybe getting too old for the things that I was watching. If I was watching some sort of animated series, and all of a sudden all of the advertisements were for gum and dolls, then I sort of realized, okay, I think maybe this isn't the right programming for me. Imagine if you sit down to watch programming by choice, and all of the advertisements are directed at the most gullible people on earth. What does that tell you about yourself at that point?
I have to assume that you don't recognize it as being directed at the most gullible people on earth. You just think, oh my God, I need that.
Yeah. Brilliant. I have all this money in my bank account just wasting away. I should turn it into coins with people's faces on them. That would make more sense.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you what, from the outside, it is something. It is something. What a world. Well, do you have any fun anecdotes from the week?
Boy, not really. I mean, the pajamas, obviously, but beyond the pajamas, no, nothing.
Okay. And these are you sleep in long sleeves, long pants. That's your.
Yeah, it's chilly outside. Of course.
Is that how you normally do it?
I do. Yeah, I normally sleep. Yeah, and then I'll put socks on after this too. Yeah.
And mittens and a cozy cap.
Yeah, but they don't have the bones on them. Just
well, of course not.
Yeah.
Ugh. So it's too hot. It's too hot for that. Can't sleep with pants on. It's too hot. Or maybe that's just my bed. All right. Well, do you want to hear a ghost story?
Yes. Like that.
A little
quick look of panic. Did he leave?
I was not looking at you. I was looking at the soundboard, focusing on trying to read the thing I could never read.
Ding. Ding.
Nice. Ding.
Dong. Can't wait to get a soundboard. I'm going to do that all the fucking time.
Yeah, we're going to put some strict limitations on your abilities. I wonder if I can control this remotely. Yeah. That will be important. Louis de Buade de Frontenac was born on May 22nd, 1622.
In Pittsburgh, PA.
Which famously preceded all of America. Mm-hmm. Yes. We don't, it's hard. We don't have a lot of history about Louis, his younger years. We do know his parents were Henri de Malt. Mm-hmm. And this is a typo. This is an autocorrect. This says one. His mother's name was not one.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident about that. So it was something. Mm-hmm. Philippe.
That one you're sure of, though.
That one I'm sure because it's got the red squiggles under it. So it's
Okay, yeah.
I'm not touching this one. You fucked this up, and that's on you.
I fucked up the first one. You fucked up the second one.
That's right. So Notes and I are doing a little pas de deux, I think they call that in French. Other than his parents' names, or half his parents' names, we don't have a lot of details about his early life, but we do know that he entered the military in 1635 at the ripe old age of 13. He first served under the Prince of Orange in Holland.
Oh.
Any questions about that arrangement?
I mean...
Anything in those three words that has raised some sort of flag for you?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's from some sort of like a Roald Dahl novel or something like that.
And then all the pelicans came. They looped the Prince of Orange to all the pelicans, and he flew away. And Louis grabbed onto his ankles, and the centipede grabbed on as well. Yeah, so he, quote, fought with credit and received many injuries. Which is very funny, but I will also say if I were fighting in a war, that is me to a T, except for maybe the fought with credit part.
Yeah. fought when he must and injured often.
Fought when he got yelled at too much. Hurt
13,
much.
13 years old in the Army. My God.
What were you doing at 13?
Oh, boy. A lot of Final Fantasy. That was pretty much, that was pretty much it.
I was doing Mario Kart.
Okay.
Mario Kart and GoldenEye.
Okay. Yeah. So very similar to this guy.
Respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we do that.
I played Final Fantasy with much credit.
So, was that the year? What was that? That was
90,
not 7. It
5?
must have been Final Fantasy 4, 5.
Might have been 7.
7 was a fucking banger game. Is why I ask. That's Sephiroth. Oh boy, what a scamp. Anyway, so he fights with credit. He's receiving many injuries. When he was 21, he was promoted to the rank of colonel, and 3 years later, quote, after distinguishing himself at the siege of Orbitello, where he had an arm broken, he was made Marshal de Camp.
It's an odd promotion structure here. Like, the more you get fucked up, is this like so they don't have to pay out your claims or something?
I don't know. It feels like the more injured he gets, the more they're kind of locking themselves into his pension, which seems like a bad way to go. As someone who's very accident prone, I kind of like this though. I wish like every time I fucked up at work, they would give me a promotion. And here's something I didn't really understand about 17th century European warfare until I was researching this. This is a quote also from his source. Warfare ceased during the winter months.
Makes sense. I mean, nobody wants to go outside in the winter.
I guess so, but like, at what point do you call timeout?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
Does like one person have to die of frostbite before you're like, okay?
I wonder if it's one of these things where like one side shows up and the other side doesn't show up, and they're like, I get it. I get it. I'm wearing a jacket. We're all wearing jackets. This is getting to be too much.
We'll see you in the thaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which still like amazes me that George Washington was just like, you know what, this is stupid. I'm going to kill all of you on Christmas. and the British were like, this is no way to fight.
This is uncivilized. Oh,
yeah. Why are you stabbing me on Christmas, no less?
Well, I've bled out. Goodbye. And that's how we won the war. So yeah, I guess this was a common thing. And so he was a full-time soldier, but during the winter months, he needed to keep himself occupied.
Like work at a grocery store or something like that. You know, like Joe DiMaggio used to in the off season, you know.
Did he work at a grocery store?
DiMaggio probably did, but a lot of the early baseball guys, I mean, it didn't really pay anything. You know, all the cigars you could smoke throughout the season, but that was pretty much it. And then
yeah. But he had like Marilyn Monroe money, right?
Yeah, so he was really busy in the off season.
He was quite busy. Anyway, so Frontenac needs to be occupied. So during the winter months, he takes up residence in the king's court.
It's a hobby, I guess.
If anything. I think so. Listen, in the 17th century, that's the best case scenario. That's where you want to be. That's where the food goes. But being in the king's court does not mean the king like pays you to hang around all day. Of course, you're just there. You're kind of leeching on to what's going on. And also you have to wear like the right clothes and attend right parties up. So, and you're paying for all that stuff.
Okay.
So because of this, Frontenac goes into massive debt.
Really? Just on the clothing?
Just on the clothing alone. I don't know if you've seen paintings of 17th century French outfits, but they
very
are
ornate,
elaborate,
very And then if everybody's ordering duck at lunch, you don't want to be like the guy who's like, well, I'm really trying to save. I'm just gonna have a salad. Like, oh fuck you, we're all getting duck. Come on.
Yeah. So he goes into debt. Now this leads him eventually to seek an arrêt du Conseil d'État.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah,
I got into debt.
Yeah, been there.
I saw that.
Which so I Googled this and I couldn't actually find a very good answer, but I've pieced together. I think what this means is at some point he had to ask a court to pardon his debts.
Oh, it's declared bankruptcy. Like
basically
French bankruptcy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, our boy's not good with money. Which I'll tell you it's so weird because you look at this drawing of him, which I'll show you here, and you tell me if this guy looks like he's good with money or not good with money. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
He looks. Oh man, I'm really trying to place who this guy looks like. He's got a lot. There's a lot of Sean Connery in there. There's a lot of Sean Connery in there. Sean Connery with like a cheap mop for a wig.
And a sweet mustache.
And and that hat as well. That's like a Musketeers type hat. And I like that hat a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Big fan of the hat.
He's got the sash, got the cravat. Like that's not cheap.
Oh, yeah.
So
and everything you see there has to get washed every night. Yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing I know about the 1700s, they were doing laundry. I think constantly.
Can you imagine? Oh, just really constant. Yeah.
God. He does have great eyebrows, though. I will say
they are. Yeah.
Got the people's eyebrow going on there, and I like that.
Looks like it might actually be hanging off of the face at some angles.
Just found a way to shave it just enough so it kind of like leans off of there. And I celebrate that. Anyway, so he continues to serve in the military until 1648, when finally there is a peace treaty. So he returns to his father's house in Paris. Mm-hmm. And in October of that year, he gets married to a woman named Anne de la Grange Trianon.
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds nice. Yeah, let's see. Let's check in on.
Oh, well, I bet she's very smart.
I have been racking my brain trying to figure out why a noblewoman in 17th century France would be wearing a hat like this.
Yeah, like it's
a war helmet that doesn't even fit.
Is she carrying a shield and a bow and arrow as well?
I think so. So she may be very badass.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
These plumes, those are going to get you shot.
Those plumes are a target right there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, again, if you are going into battle with obviously a lot of like, aren't she like armor on her like bodice or whatever? It's
so hard. I think so.
Yeah. But then she is stark white from forehead to bosom, which I can imagine is probably not a great look for the battlefield. You know, maybe put the shield over that part. I'm not entirely sure.
It seems like maybe this does not inspire a lot of confidence in me that she's been outside doing archery a lot.
Right. Yeah. This is a little bit of stolen valor here. This is clearly armor her husband brought home from the war, and she's modeling for the painting.
Speaking of stolen valor, have I told you about my my graduation ceremony debacle? Have I told you about any of this?
I don't think so.
Well, everyone's gonna love hearing this. So I'm now teaching at a new college, Mary Baldwin University, right?
Right.
And at my last college at Columbia, when it was graduation or commencement weekend, you would just show up and they would provide you with a robe and a hat and a hood. Like the whole works.
Mm-hmm.
And you would do that and you would go on stage and you'd shake hands and stuff. But here at Mary Baldwin, you had to provide your own robe.
Oh,
Hat and hood. Now I have my own master's hood because that's a thing you told. But I never received the robe or the cap.
Sure. And
I was like, oh shit, I need to have this by like 2 days from now. Because there was some event that we had to dress in full regalia for it. And I was like, what do I do? So, and I messaged, there was a guy, it just so happens, one of the guys on my search committee who hired me, he just retired and he is my height.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so you're like his so you're his replacement.
Yes,
oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So in so many
now.
ways, yes. Yeah. And weirdly, also, this guy grew up in Pacific. His family is there.
Okay. Yeah. Does he have a beard as well?
No. Clean shaven.
Interesting. Yeah.
Now, when he was 41, did he have a beard? Can't speak to that. He did go. He got his doctorate. Guess what school?
SLU? I have no idea. Mary Baldwin?
Mizzou. You're right.
Mizzou. Yeah. I've been there.
Anyway, so yes, parallel lives. But anyway, so I reached out to him and I was like, Bruce, so sorry. We didn't have to do this at my last place. Can I, like, are you using your gown? You're not going to be there, right? Do you mind? And he was like, actually, you can have it. So very generous. He gave it to me. It was wonderful.
Fantastic. $20 saved. I love it.
Oh, Patrick, you've got a master's. You must know what those things cost. It's like $100 saved. Yeah. So he gives it to me and I'm like, this is great. Now, the only problem is he has a doctorate. He's a PhD. Right. I only have a master's. Now, this is not going to mean anything to like 99.9% of our listeners, but if you're in academia, you know, the PhD robe has these like felt rings around the sleeves and that signifies you're a doctor.
Sure. Okay. So you're like trying to cut those off really furiously.
Well, so I have this thing and I'm like, well, this is the only thing I have to wear. Like, I don't have a PhD. I guess I have to wear this, but like everyone's gonna get mad at me because everyone else knows I have a master's. And I was really kind of anxious about this. But then I realized I also don't have a hat. And so I had to find a hat. So then I thought, well, what I should do is just get a master's robe and a master's hat because that'll solve my problems. But we're on short notice. Like I'm kind of freaking out. I'm being very anxious about this.
And you couldn't turn the robe inside out.
Oh, well, there's a tag.
Oh, I mean, you couldn't cut the
monogram with Bruce's initials, but so it's going to be real weird. So I went on Amazon and I had to buy the hat that matched the robe. So I bought a doctoral hat, not a master's hat. And anyway, so now when I go to these events, I am decked out in full PhD garb and everyone calls me Dr. Smith.
Okay.
And I told the dean of my college, I was like, listen, I don't know, maybe I'm making too big of a deal of this, but this is why I'm wearing this because my dean doesn't yet have a PhD. So he's in the master's thing and a master's normal hat. And he knows that I am not a PhD. And so I told him, and I said, this is stolen valor. And, but here's why. And he was like, Clayton, I don't think anyone cares. And I had spent like 48 hours very stressed. And I'm still stressed about it. We had to wear it again the other day. And I'm just waiting for someone to be like, wait a minute, I saw your transcripts. And I didn't see PhD on there. In hindsight, I regret telling that story because no one is going to be interested in
Pretty
that.
Pretty boring. But
me and Tom Long. That's the audience for that story. Anyway, sorry everyone. Let's get back to the story, shall we? So he marries Anne, and you may be asking yourself, gosh, he got home in 1648. He marries someone that same year. Like, how did he manage to find the love of his life so quickly?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. Well, it turns out Frontenac married Anne because she was set to inherit a large sum of money from her deceased mother.
Okay.
And her father upon his death.
Okay.
So her mom was rich, died. Dad got everything, and he's not doing well.
Suddenly, someone's a little bit better with money than they were 48 hours ago.
That's right. This is the sound of hands rubbing together greedily. So he marries her, but what Frontenac did not know was Anne's father fucking hated him. And so shortly after Frontenac and Anne were married, Anne's father remarried again, and married a new woman, a new wife, a new person, and with her had a child with the specific intent that his fortune would not go to Anne.
Wow.
As far as historians can tell us, that is the one and only reason why he married and had a child after that. So,
wow.
So Anne wouldn't get his money, so then Frontenac would not get his money.
Spite is strong.
You got to respect that.
A lot of respect. A lot of
Gotta
respect for that
respect
level of spite.
Yeah. So then eventually Anne's father dies, but Frontenac receives $0.
And the world's richest baby is just toddling around.
Just falling into the money bin and almost dying. So surprisingly, the marriage between Frontenac and Anne hit the rocks. It was on the rocks.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Now they did have one child together, a little boy. But soon after, here's a quote: "Incompatibility of temper led to a separation."
Oh.
Now, here's what I'll say: they did not get divorced.
Okay.
It took some time apart. See where this might go. And in order to see where things might go, Frontenac then moved to his estate in central France and began to live it up.
Ah, okay. Yeah. He's going to just, he's going to sow a little bit, he's going to sow some seeds.
But we'll reap nothing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Just to be clear. And therefore, he falls once again hopelessly into debt. So he's partying, he's spending lots of money, he goes into debt. Then he goes off the radar for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
There is basically nothing about him during this 15-year period.
With this being the 17th century, everyone just assumes he's dead.
I have to believe that's right.
That has to be the ploy here.
Now, in historical hindsight, that probably means he went on one amazing bender at the best time. But in 1669, he resurfaces. France sent an army to help with the Venetians against the Ottomans. And as you know,
of course,
the student of such things. Frontenac was placed in command of all of the French troops.
Really?
So it's quite a rise back to glory.
They had to go dig him up somewhere out of a vineyard and say, "Oh, hey, one more ride." And he's
drop that bottle.
What does it pay? Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a quote too. In that expedition, he won military glory, but his fortune not improved. And in fact, by 1672, his debt has just been racking up. It is up to 343,228 livres.
Seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot for 1672. Yeah. Any six-figure number is a lot. I did try to figure out the conversion to this, but in 1672, obviously there was no such thing as the US dollar. And so it became very confusing. So
a lot.
I did not.
Just a bunch. Millions of dollars. Yeah.
Between 1 and 18 trillion billion dollars.
Okay. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle there.
Somewhere in there. The mean, maybe. It's enough debt that his property is seized by creditors. This is like a big estate in central France. Yeah. So it's sizable. But then Lady Fortune smiles down. For some reason, Frontenac has all these great connections. Obviously, he was put in charge of the French military. And now he's offered the position of governor of New France.
Oh, hey.
Over in the country of
Canada.
This is very exciting for Frontenac.
His creditors are not in Canada.
His creditors not there. And more to the point, as long as he's governor, his debts, legally speaking, are deferred. This
sounds very similar to somebody that we're currently encountering on a national level.
Please make me president. Please make me president. I can't go to jail. Sure does. So he's appointed and he says, "Oh, yes, thank you so much." And he goes to Quebec. So he's in charge of Quebec. He moves into Quebec City, and he gets into town. And he's like, I want to make some big changes around here. I got some ideas, got some plans, make some things happen.
I'm going to borrow money from everybody in this little town.
Debts are deferred, everybody. He founded a fur trading post on Lake Ontario called Fort Frontenac.
Good idea.
Yes.
Give yourself some credibility right off the bat.
Absolutely. And then tell everyone it's been here for centuries.
I'm actually named after this. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, this is my family's fort.
Can I interest you in investment? Would you like to put money here? It's really safe, really safe. It's during this time he meets a French explorer named René Robert Cavalier Signon de La Salle.
Wow. Just plowed right through it.
I've been drinking some whiskey now, so just went for it. So he meets a man named LaSalle. Frontenac secures royal permission for LaSalle to head down the Mississippi River. So again, he is so fucking connected. So I don't know exactly what story is there, but he's just got the royalty loves him. And they say, yep, you can send whoever you want down the Mississippi. He chooses LaSalle, and LaSalle sails down the Mississippi. One of his stops, of course, is Chicago. Of course, on his way down toward the Mississippi, which is why he's the LaSalle of LaSalle Street.
Ah, makes sense.
In Chicago. Yeah, there's a statue of him in Lincoln Park. Anyway, so all this expansion works because Frontenac is reappointed governor at the end of his term. Which is a real mitzvah because debt is once again deferred. So he goes on to do a whole bunch of stuff, which is, I don't know, you can go read it. It's really boring, but he's just trying to make himself useful so he doesn't get fired because he has so much debt. Let's see. During this time, the French fight the English. He's in charge of some stuff. He loses some of that stuff. He wins more stuff. He fights the Iroquois. That's the Cliff Notes. Good. Anyway, he gets sick and dies on November 28th, 1698.
Oh, wow.
That's okay.
I mean, I kind of figured he was going to die, but
every man dies. Not every man really lives.
Not every man fights the Iroquois.
That's right. He got a whole bunch of stuff named after him, including the St. Louis, Missouri suburb of Frontenac.
Indeed. Very hoity-toity.
Probably the wealthiest. So one of it's
the hoity-toityest mall we have. Put it that way. So
it's called a plaza, not a mall. That's how you know it's real fancy. And sometime in the 1700s, Frontenac's governor's mansion in Quebec City is demolished. It's too old.
Okay.
Get rid of this house. We're done with this house.
This guy's dead.
He's dead. The house is dead. We're all dead. Get new. But eventually, in the 1870s, Quebec saw a resurgence of French architecture. This was in an effort to recapture the grandeur of the 17th century. So they shouldn't have torn the fucking thing down. They tore everything down, and then 100 or 50 years later, they're like, what if all of Quebec looked French? Like, wow, great idea.
It's like, why did I throw away all of those jeans from the 90s? I could totally, it'd be so cool now.
My jeans are so small now. They were never tight. Now they look so tight by comparison. I just I just can't win. It's very frustrating.
So many Jinkos I threw away. Why?
I had so many jeans with hammer loops on them, and I don't know why. I was never a carpenter. So cool now. Anyway, so this new attempt to rebuild Quebec resulted in, among other things, a beautiful new hotel that was built directly on top of the grounds of Frontenac's 17th century home.
Okay.
It was one of several tourism hotels built by the Canadian Pacific Railway. So it's a time when the railroad is building hotels to bring people in. And here's what it looked like.
Holy shit. Okay.
Can you believe this?
Oh, the railroad built this?
The railroad built. Now, I will say it's been rehabbed a couple times and maybe expanded a couple times, but basically, this is yes.
Oh my God.
You want to try to describe what you're seeing here?
I mean, it's kind of there's two distinct areas of the hotel. There's some sort of like a barrier building in the front with a bunch of spires and probably 4 or 5 stories. There's a beautiful gazebo out front. It's like an orange brick with what's that? Like copper roofing that the oxidized copper roofing.
Turn green, yeah.
Yeah. And then in the center of it is this enormous tower. It's probably 20 stories tall. It looks like the main feature that also has the same orange brick, but with a like a black Gothic almost roof to it. Just a very striking, beautiful building.
It's one of the most incredible buildings I think I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Built by a railroad.
And this is a Holiday Inn Express now. So
you're not as far off as you'd probably like to be. God, can you imagine what kind of hotel the Amtrak would build today?
Oh my God.
Probably similar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This hotel was designed by a man named Bruce Price, who apparently was a big influence on Frank Lloyd Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Although stylistically, there's not a lot of overlap. Mm-hmm. So I don't know in what way. It has, you said 20 stories. You're so close. 18 stories in that center building. Though it does look even bigger because it's built on top of a hill, which is 177 feet up. It has 610 rooms, 8 of which have been turned into specialty themed rooms.
Oh, I'm a big fan of themed rooms.
Yeah, well, these themed rooms
big fan
include the Celine Dion room.
Not okay. All right. What else you got?
And the Alfred Hitchcock room.
Okay. All right. That's 2 out of the 8.
Yeah. Now, the Hitchcock room, most of the rooms that are themed are named for Canadian governors and like English royalty.
Okay. Yeah. Boring shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the Hitchcock room have like a balcony where like the railing falls off? Or
I will tell you, I'm not sure I've ever been more disappointed in my life than I was when I Googled the Hitchcock suite.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a normal room with pictures of Alfred Hitchcock on the walls.
Oh, what a shame.
Celine Dion room, regular room with pictures of Celine Dion on the walls.
Yeah.
It's a real missed opportunity. I think almost everyone who has a room named after them is Canadian, but Hitchcock obviously not. But he's there because this hotel was the filming location for the final scene in his movie I Confess.
Oh, okay.
You ever see I Confess?
I have not.
It's one of his lesser known, less popular, but it's very good. Anyway, so that's the hotel. There's also a rooftop garden where honey is harvested from 70,000 honeybees.
Hey.
Yeah. So pretty triggering for those of us who grew up in the My Girl generation, but for everyone else, it probably sounds pretty cool.
And theme room number 8 is the Macaulay Culkin suite.
And next door is the Anna Klumsky room, and it's just sobs. And
you'll want to make sure to bring your glasses because you'll need them to see.
Oh, it's got so sad. This hotel opened in 1893, and they called it Chateau Saint Louis, naming it after our friend Louis de Buade de Frontenac.
Mm-hmm.
His name's on the sign, and his bones are in the basement, right on top of his house. Now, it seems that while he lived, Frontenac began to have regrets about how things had ended with his wife, Anne.
Oh,
and again, they're not divorced.
Yeah.
They're just
still not
separated.
Divorced. Separated
divorced.
By a hemisphere. Yes.
Yeah.
Separated.
Yeah. Pretty greatly separated, I would say. Yeah. But still on divorce. And several years after he got to New France, I think he was feeling a little guilty. You okay?
I have a cat that is playing in his water dish right now and just doing it so loudly. So yeah, just
so cute.
It's great. I love when he does that.
Little short king. Where are we here? Oh, he's feeling guilty. So he sends for Anne.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think maybe even earlier in this, you probably send for the wife, assuming you're trying to, kind of, hey, look what I run all of whatever the fuck this is.
We killed all the Indians.
Yeah.
Do you want to come see? Yeah, I think, maybe the more generous version of this, a generous take on this would be, now he's in a place where he no longer has to worry about his great debt, which is kind of what drove their marriage in the first place. So now he's kind of in a more comfortable place to say, actually, this could be about love.
Right. Except for in 3 years when I'm up for re-election, it's going to get really anxious again. But then if I win, cool, it'll be great.
Yeah, and I really could use. I need people to think of me as a family man. So if you could just come over and bring our son, that'd be great. I see this.
I've been borrowing my friends, wives and children. But
you have been reading the Virginia news.
I have been.
Christ. Oh boy. So anyway, so he sends for Anne, and he asks her to please join him in his new life across the sea. He waits. She does not come.
Oh.
He eventually dies.
Well,
as we've already discussed. When he died, he requested that his heart be sent to Anne in a box.
I will show you what happens if you don't come to Canada to see me.
Now, I don't know exactly the point of this move. It's a big gesture.
It is a big gesture. I will give you that.
Gesture.
Yeah. It's not a clear gesture, though.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Unless I don't know as much about 17th century French culture as I thought I did, but I don't really think this is a clear gesture.
Yeah, courtship in the old French Empire is very strange and new to me. But so he sends his heart, or he has his heart sent to her in a box. She receives it.
After how many weeks? Like, this is a lot of time for a heart to spend on a boat.
I don't know, but again, it did go obviously by boat. So
yeah,
I don't think ice is not like a thing you have.
Yeah, they didn't like pack it in dry ice like Ted Drew's or something like that. This shows up pretty jerkified.
Yeah, I say, it's probably like sourdough style. They probably put it in a big jar of salt and we're like, I don't know, good luck.
Opens up the mail one day. What is this jar of salt? This is so nice. We should start using this in our soup. And after about a month, she's like, there's something hard in the jar. I don't know what's going on in here.
When she eventually opens the box, she sends it back.
Oh, yeah. Can you do that?
Yeah, you return to sender. It's a whole thing. Elvis Presley has a whole song about it.
I like famously, the sender does not, I mean, he clearly isn't going to need it anymore.
Well, and I don't know who sent it.
Right.
Exactly. So, but she stamps it, return to sender. She sends it back. She's not interested. So that gives some insight into that relationship.
So the guy on the boat, the postal worker guy on the boat, he sees the box show back up. He knows this box.
Oh yeah, he clearly
this is the box that's kind of damp on the bottom and nobody knows why. And oh, look what's back.
It smells a little gamey and it's weird.
It smells worse than it did the first time it was on the boat, and now it's going back.
But it's a living. So this is their whole deal. So anyway, so once the new hotel is built over Frontenac's old home, the spirit of Frontenac finally, once again, had a place to sit and wait for Anne once more. And his ghost is often seen on the second floor of the hotel near a window looking out over the water and searching longingly for Anne.
And for the mail to come back.
And
because
he did send the heart back again. It was like, this cannot come back. Come on. This time I'll send her my desiccated penis as well. That'll remind her of our good times. Please don't send it back.
She's reading the letter. Please see attachment. What attachment? Oh, fuck no. Oh, come
on. So you'll see him sitting sometimes on the second floor. You have to be quiet though if you do see him, because any sort of noise and he disappears completely.
Yep.
He's also sometimes seen just sort of moping around the hotel. He's not. He's not back there.
Are you sure?
No.
I can hear him playing in the cat's water.
Oh man. Now, for what it's worth, there's also a second ghost at this hotel.
Oh.
No one knows who she is, but they all agree she exists.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a woman in a white nightgown who likes to surprise guests in their sleep.
Okay. Could be a voyeur too. You never know.
Pretty kinky. Sounds kind of exciting, to be honest.
If you're an unknown ghost like that, do you know you're unknown? That's kind of the big question. Like, do you think you are just as well known as the guy that sits there heartless on the second floor?
I have to think, actually, most ghosts, at least the ones we talked about, most of them are probably more surprised to find out that they are well known.
Okay.
Because we don't have a whole lot of like famous ghosts, like famous people who become ghosts.
Yeah.
Most of them are just like Joe Schmoes who have become famous as a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And that level of newfound fame is probably very disorienting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, that's the house where, Ernest Hemingway, pulls down your pants sometimes. It's
right.
It's always person becomes more famous after death.
Sure. Now I do think there's a Hemingway ghost. You can see him kind of shoot his head off.
Interesting. And then he pulls down your pants.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like, gotcha. So she is, so she does the sleep thing. She's not a harmful ghost.
Doesn't sound like
it. Sounds like a pretty helpful ghost, he has me. Been single for a long time, and she sounds pretty helpful. She will sit on the end of people's beds and watch them while they doze off. I guess this is her king. Everyone's got to have a king.
Yeah.
And if you want to be haunted by a sad sack and a weirdo, you can. This hotel now is owned by not Holiday Inn Express, but the Fairmont.
Oh.
Fairmont Le Chateau Frontenac. And it is open for business. And I'll tell you, I looked up today, I picked like some random dates in the spring just to see how much it would cost. It's not as expensive as I would have expected from a place that looks like this. Because again, it does look, it's fucking fabulous. $300 a night range.
Huh. And that's Canadian dollars. So it's like $100.
So it's like 50 cents, I think.
Really not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
First poutine's free. First Labatt's free. After that.
Man, I'll tell you what, I swear to God, if they made that as an actual offer, I would book a month.
Honey, it pays for itself. We really need to be there right now.
I don't know if you've had poutine, but this is going to be worth it. And that is the story of Frontenac. And I guess we'll call it the Fairmont Le Chateau Frontenac Hotel. Got to go by the current name. What do you think? Good? Want to go?
I like any I like any like ghost hotel where I can also earn points. I like that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really important point that we haven't discussed nearly enough on this podcast. And as we're talking about ghost tourism, it is worth mentioning, I think, if we're going to be responsible, that make sure you're staying at haunted hotels that give you points, that give you a reward system. Where is Quebec City in relation to like Montreal? Is that anything? Quebec City. It's funny, if you look at Google Maps and you type in Quebec City, the image that comes up is this hotel.
What else it would be?
From Montreal. Just wondering if we saw this while we were there. Nah, probably not. It's like northeast. So not. Yeah. So no. The answer is no. Anyway, no one cares about that. Beautiful hotel though. And you want to go, you can. Gosh, what else? That feels like a full episode, huh? Our time. We've done it. Did we do it? Oh yes, we've done it. We've hit our mark. Okay. Well, that's great. Thank God. This is an episode of Is This a Ghost? The notes this week. I was worried. This is kind of a short, notes-wise, a short episode. So we burned enough time talking about things no one cares about. all the notes this week are taken by me, Clayton Smith. All the funny jokes are from Patrick Dean. Our audio editor is Jeremy Montoya. Our video editor is Jen Swanson. Our social media manager is Kai Valonis. And I would say I'd stay out of Canada, really, because if you go up there, you are absolutely destined to become a ghost. And we'll talk about you next week here on this podcast called Is This a Ghost? Nailed it.